So 30-yard free kick with a 20-yard run out. Good ball for Roberto Carlos. Pops into the penalty area to Zidane. Nani. Rooney! Oh, wonderful! Manchester City is still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero!
Here they all are. Here they all are. The worst thing about having an intro that long is when I forget to add people to the stream for when it's finished. How amateur of me. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Football Throwdown. Somebody's got a car going past their house. Welcome. Tonight we have two Man United fans on the top row. I'll put myself on the bottom row. So there's two Tottenham fans on the bottom row. And as always, we have Daddy Dave from Nottingham Forest is going to be the referee and talk to us about all things relegation so that Jordan and I can get used to it for next season when the relegation. Welcome all. Kaz, how you doing? Better late than never as always. You all right?
Yeah, mate. I know I wasn't late this time, was I? You know, like I was just waiting for that. I knew there was gonna be a long hunt. And I thought, yeah, let me just take my time. You know, like I said, I'm not here for none of you. I'm not here for you, Staffy, Jordan. I just want to talk to Dave.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, listen, I'll kick you both out, and you two can go and have a little chat on WhatsApp.
My new nephew, that lad.
Oh, good God! You can pick better people than Kaz to have as your nephew. Staffy, how you doing, man? Staffy, you good? Staffy, can you hear me? Are you there?
Man. Listen, I'm here. You guys don't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
The Glazers got your Wi-Fi.
Staffy, you might want to log out and come back in. Brilliant. Jordan Ianson, one of my favourite people in the world sometimes. How are you?
I'm well, mate. That's some intro, by the way. Just thought to myself, the last time I done one of these was towards the end of Jose's reign. So at least a lot's changed with the club. So we progress, haven't we? So there's more to talk about.
It's nice you've gone through puberty since then as well. Like you've got a beard and long hair, and you look manly. You look like a boy last time we done this.
I think so we just forget about each other. I've had a beard for the last 6 years.
Welcome to adulthood, mate. Welcome to adulthood. Soon you'll be looking like Dave. Look, where do we start? Welcome to everybody in the chat. Look, as always, being a Spurs fan, it's been an absolutely diabolical 72 hours. It's been a diabolical 72 days, 72 months, 72 years. It's just absolutely crap. Let's start. I want to come to you first, Jordan. And then I'm going to go to Kaz. I know Kaz is going to rinse me the whole show. I just got this feeling in my bones. Just got this feeling.
He's going to castrate you.
It's a terrible joke, Dave.
It is, isn't it? It's a bad start, that's all.
Jordan, look, let's start with Spurs before we move on to Man U and then to the relegation battle. Mate, listen, look, we've seen some bad times. Me and you share a WhatsApp group where I think weekly we tell each other that we're done. We're going to another club, and this time we're done. Have you ever seen it as bad as you saw it Sunday?
No, and I think it's encapsulated, isn't it? By, I mean, you've said it for as long as you say you've said it 20 years, 15 years, or whatever about the ownership and the way the clubs run. I've probably been awake to that for the last, I don't know, 5, 6 years or so. But you'd always have people from outside the club, you know, fans from other teams going, what are you moaning about? You're fourth, or you beat this team, or you bought this player, or whatever. But I think it's encapsulated now where not all, but a lot of fans from other teams are starting to realise the absolute mess of a way that the clubs run and where we are now and kind of where we have been really for the last God knows how long. But I think it's come to another spearhead, isn't it, this Saturday, where, I mean, was it statistically the worst ever start to a Premier League game by a team ever? So it doesn't, yeah. What else can I say? I think they did all the talking on at the weekend, didn't they, really?
Yeah, we're full of firsts at our club. None of them are actually finishing first, but we're full of firsts. Kaz, I'm sure you've been waiting for this. Did anything you saw on Sunday make you worried about playing us on Thursday night?
It'll be sick to be one of you, innit? So
Oh,
I
you've
don't
been
know,
planning that bad
you
joke,
know,
haven't you?
yeah, you know what I did.
Yeah.
Because you know what, I was going through another chat. I was telling Sean, big up Sean, Spurs Talk Show, Sean, George, Patrick. I don't know if I told you lot enough, but I was like, oh, it's freezing. You know, it's like, are you for real? Can you lend me a $5? Like, it was just, you know what? I don't know, because it was just, I've been there this season. You know, I think was like, I've been there this season myself.
Yeah,
So
but
it's like,
you've
I
been there
started,
in a one-off game.
you know what
we
is
do this
sad?
every week.
Yeah, but I mean, no way it was Sav. Yeah, at first it was great because you know what? I could just get the WhatsApp chat when you said, "I hope Man United lose. I hope this, that, and the other." I said, "You know what? You deserve it." But it just goes to show everything you said this season is right, though, isn't it? Like it just proves you right, and it's not like, "Oh, I told you so." Like, "Oh, I want to prove a point." It's just like I've been going on about this full season, and you just kind of think like I'm starting to feel. It's great, but now I'm starting to feel sorry for you for the guys that spend all their money. Like it's not anything different, you know. It's like you don't win. You're not winning no trophies, anyways. You're not getting nowhere. Just this time out, it's just like you're finishing outside the top 4 for the first time in a while. I swear, in it. If I'm correct.
It's been a few years.
For us, outside the top 4, you saying?
Yeah. How long have you been in Champions League for now? Like for a minute, right?
Oh, no. We had a couple of years out.
Yeah, because I know you was in the thingy. You've been in it with Poch. Then you came out Conference League. Then you went straight back up to the Champions League, and then maybe there's going to be no sort of European football at the moment. I don't know. It's a bit weird for Spurs. It's kind of worrying because I'm seeing the same tactics that the Glazers do. Shit hits the fan, and then now there's going to be a new director of football of something to do with this, and then there's going to be now a committee with the fans, and it's going to be this, that, and the other. I'm like, mate, if there isn't another deflection tactic, I have never seen. That is what you call it. It's just like they're just trying. There's not going to be no committee. Daniel Levy ain't going to speak to none of the fans. He's not going to do nothing. And you're going to still spend what free season ticket prices? What about the other prices? The 5% are meant to go up for the other regular ticket price holders and all that kind of stuff. So it's like it's look, away from football, I do pity, and I do kind of just I do love it. But my granddad supports Spurs and he's in the mud at the moment. I rang him and I bear in mind, I don't talk to my granddad too much, but when it comes to football, I ring him like, it's like, granddad, like, do you want me to come over? Do you want me to come to Plymouth, mate? Like,
I'm going to Plymouth next year.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'll come down.
We'll get to that, Dave.
And he just says, whatever. And then I don't know, man. It's just, man, it's so good, isn't it? Though, isn't it, to enjoy this?
Well, let's move on from you, Staffy. As another Man United fan, does looking at the way Spurs are run, does that make you feel any better about the Glazers? Because obviously you guys have hated your owners for a very long time as well, but you'd rather the Glazers than Enoch and Levy, right?
Well, first of all, do you guys hear me fine this time?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. We can hear you.
Because my Wi-Fi did a bottle job, just like Spurs on that 6-1.
Oh, here we
go.
Here we go.
Listen, you said don't use that joke today, but like, come on, like that was the chance right there. So
go on.
No, back to your question. To be honest, there's nothing that makes me feel better about having the Glazers at all. Like, I really don't care if any other club in the world is ran worse than us or not. You know, it doesn't really make me feel any better. If you know how they say misery likes company, like, no, I really don't care. Like, I don't care if I'm alone in this misery, if I have company. Glazers out. But yeah, I mean, like, Spurs, to be honest, like, you guys, I don't know, like, I don't even know where to start about how you guys are being ran. You know, 1 minute, you know, you guys are investing in a stadium and, you know, you're financially doing very well and it looks good. And, you know, you guys are hoping to be like, you know, a contending team within the next few years. And then fast forward, I don't know, 4 or 5 years later, you guys are just like, I don't even know how to describe it. You know, like, there's nothing on the pitch. There's nothing off the pitch. There's no future. There's no present. There's no championship still, no trophies, nothing. You know, I feel for Spurs fans because you guys were promised the world and beyond. And, you know, Fast forward 5 years later, as I said, the only thing you guys got was freaking Mario Karts around your stadium, and that's it. You know?
Yeah, but listen, it's a lovely stadium with Dyson hand dryers. So what more do you want? Dave, as someone that's been to the ground, Dave, supporting your beloved Nottingham Forest, what do you make of the situation at Spurs? Because I think the key thing, like Jordan said to start the show, is a lot of fans from other clubs, when Spurs fans moan and complain, which is, we've got a star in that, people can't understand why. They're like, look at your stadium, and you've got Harry Kane, you've got Son, and you've got the boxing, and you've got this, and you've got Champions League football. Do you look at it like that, or do you understand why the Spurs fans are so frustrated?
I think I do understand why the Spurs fans are frustrated, because if you take the stadium and the history, these are like huge edifices. Do you know what I mean? They're like in and of themselves. They're immense. But I mean, all I would say about when Forest went to Tottenham is Forest were the only team who didn't really play on it, because we were so abject at Tottenham. It was almost like Forest had gone there as a therapy group to help Tottenham through their problems. We were woeful that day. So the Forest game is probably, in all this recent Tottenham hysteria, if you like, the Forest game was the one island of calm for Tottenham. But I do understand, Tottenham have had Champions League football. They've been to a Champions League final. This thirst for a trophy goes on. It's so long since they won one. I just think with Tottenham, and I know a lot of Tottenham supporters myself, really good mates of mine who are Tottenham supporters, and they're all raging. It's almost like they want their club to have a soul. They want their club to have some kind of, I don't know what the word is. It just feels all artificial. It feels like it's just a shop front with no goods in the back. It's a really strange thing. I mean, the only good thing that Tottenham have done this week, and I tell you what they have done, and they should have done it, was that they reimbursed the people who went to Newcastle.
And they should do their travel as well. I had this out with that J rated, whatever his fucking name is. Sorry for swearing. Pisses me off, man. I don't even know why I followed a cunt. So I even went worse there. Sorry about
unbelievable. That. Right, let's stop. We're starting again. We're starting again.
We start again. Run the intro. No, just mate, winds me up. Like
Cassie's right.
It's like you're having to go. So the Man United, Liverpool fans, the Man United when you got battered should also get rid. I'm like, you're defending Levy in that. Are you for real, mate? You're trying to be see stuff like this. This is where it's like I'm defending the people, not the owners. I'm like, mate, most of the United away fans live in Manchester, by the way, which is not far from Liverpool. And the ones that go from London can spend 60 quid to get up to Liverpool, right? Like, if we want to talk about that basis, right? Newcastle, if you want to get up there, mate, that's a 10, 12-hour round trip, depending how crap your car is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And also, second, if you want to get the train, that's like 200 squid.
Yeah.
It's that bad. And it was I was like, mate, if I don't keep my head in a tweet, I'm gonna get banned. Like, honestly, even now, like, just speaking about it, it's just like, how can you when you start attacking the working class money and all this kind of stuff like that, it drives me insane.
It drove me insane Sunday. I agree with Cass. I was watching, I mean, I took my old dears out, right, for dinner, and I came back, and I came in, and they've been playing, like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 minutes, and it was 3-0. And I was like, staring at the screen. And then I'm looking, I went to Newcastle, first game of the season for us, right? And I was kind of thinking how high you are at St. James's Park in the Leazes End. It not only like Cast, it would take them, I don't know, 10 hours to get to Newcastle from London. It takes them another 20 hours to get from the bottom of that stand to the top of it. It's an immense thing, And all I saw was Tottenham Hotspur basically taking the piss out of their own fans and taking their money. And I just thought any fan would be scandalized by that. I mean, what I would say about, I'm going to go back to my lot, actually, I think have been one of the best sets of supporters in this league, because we've been like dealt some dreadful away trips, you know what I mean, where we've been thumped, but none of ours have ever left. And
But you have had 30 new signings to to kind of get excited about in the last 3 months.
Yeah, we signed more We've got more players, and we've actually got fans, Several. So I'll take your points on that.
You've signed more players than points you've got, I think.
Yeah. Actually,
I mean, that's insane. We talk about
just
Chelsea all the
sitting
time,
duck.
but we don't talk about that one enough. I think if Forest was like a little bit up in the table, getting a traction like Chelsea and stuff like that, definitely would have been a topic to talk about.
I still think Forest is surviving. Leeds and Everton, I think, are just
Didn't
worse.
they win
If
for
not,
them?
I think Leicester's even worse than Forest at this moment in time. Oh, and you know what, Dave? I've got a soft spot for you, mate. And Forest, I can't lie. I don't know if any of you noticed, but no, I think Forest are
he sees you like his granddad. That's what he is. He sees you like his granddad.
Because my granddad's also got a full head of hair, and I wish I had that. Mine's going to be gone in the next 5 years. I'm going to be
talking
about
about
this model up here with all his hair still. You know
I know. Well, I was going to say, talking about someone with a full head of hair. Let's go to Jordan. I mean, Jordan, just before we move on from Spurs, just because
Please,
I do it all day, every day. What do you make of? Look, the Spurs PR machine has been in like literally in overdrive today with the players are sorry. If you've got Sky, you get £10 off in the Spurs Club shop. Daniel Levy.
Can I ask something quickly for you boys? I heard something on your last protest that there was a geezer at a protest with his son or something like that, and then went in a club shop. Is that true?
Probably. That's
likely.
probably.
But,
the thing is, we've had Daniel Levy. I don't know if he's trying to be all cool and young. Is signing off now as Daniel. Normally it was the CEO or the chairman. Now it's Daniel
Levy. Normally, isn't it? Yeah.
Coys. Jordan, this won't wash with fans now anymore, will it? Surely, what we're seeing right now, this won't wash with fans being through this.
And there's two ways to look at it. I think the reimbursement from supposedly he's coming out of the player's pocket. I'm not sure if I buy that either, but it's the right thing to do. But ultimately, again, you can see. I mean, it's two ways to look at it. When I looked, maybe a few months ago on Twitter, it's one of those weird places to be, right? You live in your own fucking echo chamber most of the time. But you would still get quite a good split of people defending sort of pro Edic and Edic out, etc. But I think now, I mean, any tweet they release, you see underneath that quote tweets and replies is all just leave you out, all this kind of stuff. And I think, you look at the action that's been taken. Yes, you can only reimburse the fan for something that happened this weekend, but what is it, the fan elected board thing that they're looking to do? We've been calling for that for how long, Saba? Why is it only coming out that they're going to be doing that after the weekend of a 6-1 loss against Newcastle? So, it's quite clear that the timing of everything is a reaction to try and, not make the stadium on Thursday. Toxic to be, trying to press some of the chants, put a positive spin on things, but I just think it's too little too late, isn't it? I think most fans, there are still a select group, aren't there, that are staunch defenders, but I think it has got to the point, and I don't know how they recover from it. I mean, I'm sure they'll find a fucking way, to be honest with you. They always seem to, don't they? But they squirm out of very tight holes most of the time. But I can't see how they successfully spin anything. Let's say that.
Yeah, it's getting more and more difficult. Just quickly before we move on, I just want to bring up a couple of comments. First of all, Phil P, as always, big up my man, the biggest Ric Flair fan in the history of the world. I said Sava was in Kaz's granddad's year at school. # Levy out. Unbelievable. I think I feel 21. I feel 21. I think I look 21.
All right, Madonna.
I'm keeping it real. And thank you so much, Phil. And LLS Vlogs, Lewis, bless him, right? If ever you guys want to know what Tottenham's owners and players have done, Lewis is 14 or 13, one of the two, if you remember Lewis, Dave. And he came on my show once and he just said, Sava, you don't understand how stressed I am, what this club does to me. And I was like, dude, you're 14. He's like 14. And I'm like, you shouldn't
understand it. You got to understand.
He's got these lines that I've got and he's 14.
If you got to understand, yeah, when you go to school, I remember it, and I was only in school about 10, 11 years ago. I remember if your team lost, you're walking. It don't matter what time it is.
Yeah.
You're walking through them doors, mate, and they see you, and they're doing this. They're wagging their finger at you, and you're like, "Oh, mate."
Gaz,
and
can I just let you know?
all day.
I don't know how old you think I am or Dave is, but you do know Dave and I both went to school, right? We both had been to school.
No, but I don't know because I think in my
I used to chalk and a
in my
slate.
era, most people support all different teams. I think maybe more so in you boys' era, people literally support more or less the same club, if not the other club. North London, I suppose it's just Arsenal, Tottenham, maybe the odd West Ham, the odd Man United, maybe. I don't know. And obviously, Dave, everyone probably supported Forest or Derby or something like that. Or what's the other club called? Burton Albion or something.
Yeah, Stoke. Round our way, cuz it was the town I grew up in was Stoke and Derby, but my Forest thing was when my dad was a scout for Forest, and that's how I got into Forest back in this just before, round about the time that Cloughie took over, before Forest got promoted.
Yeah,
So-
I was lucky in my school days. I was the big bad boss. You just couldn't absolutely cover. It's the Liverpool fans. I was loving it. It was great. Times used to be so good.
Yeah, I hear that. Listen, let's
This
just quickly.
this.
Yeah, listen, this isn't one of those serious shows. This is a chance for everyone to group therapy and just have a laugh.
I ain't going therapy. I'm in a final again.
Well, let's talk about Man United. Staffy, I'll come to you. Listen, you boys come to our ground on Thursday night. Don't know why the games are Thursday, but they are. You're coming to our ground on Thursday night off the back of Spurs losing to Bournemouth at home, being spanked by Newcastle away. We've let in 9 goals in 180 minutes. You've just made a final. You're 6 points clear of us with a game in hand or 2 games in hand, whatever it is. How do you see this game going? And are you confident? Because what I want to know from you two Man United boys down the bottom is all of this stick Spurs are getting. If you don't beat us, yeah, that's really bad for you, right? You realize how poor that is if you don't beat us. So where are you at with it, Staffy?
Let's be honest. Is there a better time to face Spurs this season than right now? Like, I'm trying to think of it. You guys have had a very bad season, and I'm still looking at it as this is probably the perfect time. I'm not even looking at it like, oh, would I rather have them at home this week with the form they're in? No. I actually want to place you guys in your stadium because I think you guys are going to get booed. These players, I believe these guys are going to get booed the minute they get on the pitch. Even though Stellini's not there. What's his name? Ryan Mason.
What's the difference with Ryan Mason? He was in the back room anyways.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not like even they're going to be like, oh, new manager bounce. It's the same guy that cost them the League Cup last season or 2 seasons ago. I don't even remember when it was. I think it was 2 seasons ago.
Little bit harsh. It was his first ever game as a manager against Pep Guardiola's Man City. It's a bit.
Of course. I mean, it should have never happened. I get it. Mourinho should have never been sacked. Like, what was it? A week before the game. It was absolute shambles. But that's just the memory that you're getting from that guy. That guy's been there since our slump with Mourinho, and here we are 2 years later with another manager that just got fired, and his assistant took over and got fired, and this guy's still there. I can't believe that he's still there. He's like our version of Darren Fletcher. No matter who's our manager, no matter what's going on, this guy's just in the club doing something. You don't even know what he's doing. He's just doing something. One day's on the bench, one day's up in the board. I don't even know what he does for us. But I don't think there's a better time to face Spurs this season in their own ground than right now. Because I genuinely believe these fans are coming to the stadium just to let off some steam. I don't think they're there to support the team. Obviously, they love the club, whatever. But those 11 individuals that are going to come on the pitch that let them down about 3-4 days ago, humiliation, absolute domination against Newcastle. I think this is their chance to let them know how they really feel, and I really think that's what Spurs is going to do. I mean, that's what the fans are going to do. So I think.
And you think that plays into Man United's hands? You think that allows you to play on the booze, on the tension in the ground?
I feel like there will be a high tension in the ground, yes, and we're not even in a great form. And I don't even know if Bruno's playing or not because they just put his.
Yeah, he is.
He is
Football
because his
player.
missus
Yeah.
posted yesterday.
Yeah,
that
but
he's
that's what I said. This is the way I look at it. You got to look it through between the lines. If he was injured, there's no way Man United will allow his missus to post that first about Man United disclosing it to the public first. The fact is that it might be a risk in ballooning up. Like his ankle just got swollen, and then obviously from one of the challenges or something, put ice on it.
He
Don't
rolled
put
his
no
ankle,
pressure
so
on
it's
it.
definitely just.
He trust me, that man is a maniac. Yeah, that man will play one way or another. But would I play him for the whole game? Nah, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's never missed a game for us, if I'm correct, unless it's suspension.
I
Injury for 3 years in the what is it, 2.5 years or 3 years in the club, he hasn't missed a game.
We'll know tomorrow. I think 10. I think there's a press conference tomorrow, so 10 will let us know. I'm pretty sure Steve will
let
ask
us know.
about that.
So come on then, boys. Man United, lads. Come on, let's.
I'm gonna put some logic behind this.
Hang
Yeah.
on. I'm gonna clip this. By the way, right? I want rock solid score predictions from you two. None of when we normally do predictions. Hang on, you can in a second. It's all right, but none of this. Oh, it's going to be a tough game. I want
tough game against Spurs.
Hang it out there. Here we
Listen,
go. Go on.
I already have my thoughts, but I want to listen to Cass. Maybe he'll convince me why we.
You know what it is? Yeah, you know what it is with Spurs, right? This is where I hate. Why does everyone want to sack their managers before Man United game? West Ham, David Moyes. Another game in the bin, go to there, and probably get binned off. It's perfect game. Aston Villa. Who's the other one? Not Sevilla. Who was it? Was it Real Betis?
Sevilla's manager was there. That was his third game, so it was still kind of a manager.
Like it's always a new manager when it comes to.
It was the two managers in the group stage. It was Sheriff and what was the other team? The Clayton product.
I don't know. I can't remember. But what's it called? No, I think when you put a team such in a corner, it can't get any worse because I don't think it really can. And then it's like, what response are you going to get? And that's what annoys me if they get up for it. But at the same time, it's like there can be a counterpart. You get really enthusiastic. If Man United score that first goal early as well, especially, your heads are gone. It's done. I'm going to say, you know what, this could be probably 5-0 in the end if it's an early goal because it's just once one goal goes in, someone's switching off in that Spurs team. Whoever don't want to be there. Davinson Sanchez definitely don't want to be there. Not risk playing him. Harry Kane at this point is probably questioning himself, what his future, especially if a goal goes in. Don't really believe in that guy's mentality itself. Who else is there that you could? I like Ollie. I like Ollie Skip, to be fair. But then you got Højbjerg smiling and laughing, all this crap, even in that 6-1 defeat. I'm like, mate, yeah, he's not what you want to be caught doing at this moment of time. I think he's definitely one to be more resilient. And then it's all around. I don't know. I believe Man United, we need to win this game. We can't allow you to get back into the top 4 race, you could say, or any sort of questions. We need to spank you like a bad, like literally just absolutely annihilate you. But I don't think it's going to be a battering as much as we think.
No.
I don't. Listen, I'm hearing a lot of words. I need some numbers. I need some numbers from you two boys, and then lads at the top.
You want to go first?
I'm going to say 2-0 Man United.
I was going to say that.
But getting rid of Stellini and all this kind of stuff, and I get it, it might not even make a difference if I'm being totally honest, but that's the last bit of Conte gone. All this coach gone.
Okay, so you're both going at 2-0.
Because anyone who's Spurs, they play best when they don't have a manager and they get rid of everybody and there's no pressure no more. The only little bit of pressure is, can you get European football still?
Okay, 2-0. I'll come to you in a second, Jordan. Dave, from somebody who's not got a horse in this race at all, obviously being down in that relegation battle, I'm just making myself feel better by saying these horrible things to you, Dave. Who are you going with these boys? Is it got 2-0? Is Ryan Mason going to show everyone why he's the world's next best manager, or what's going on?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Microphone. What I think is that this could go one of two ways. I mean, what Kaz has said and what Staffy has said, you know, you would look at it and think the way Tottenham played at Newcastle and the fact that United have actually been, I mean, I saw United a couple of weeks ago at our place. They were nice and controlled, cruised to a 2-0 win. You know, Tottenham, I mean, we're awful at the moment, but I don't think Tottenham playing that much better than we are. So logic suggests a 2-0, maybe 3-1 Manchester United win tomorrow night. But you know what? Kaz also made another really good point.
Don't give him credit.
No, he was like taking stuff out. He was
Cheers,
taking
Grandad.
stuff out of my head. I think we're like the Borg. I think we're linked. Do you know what I mean? All I would say is that sometimes with a football team, I mean, I managed the team for 17 years, right? And there are sometimes when you get a thumping defeat and you think, where do you go from here? And you're like right in a corner. And sometimes when you don't expect, when a team has got its back against the wall, you know, Tottenham could quite easily come out tomorrow night and say, balls to it. Let's go for it. So I think United will win because I just think United will be buzzing off beating a really good team at Wembley. In what I know it's a goalless draw. I thought it was a really, really good game of football that at Wembley. So
yeah,
you know,
we'll come to that. We'll come to Man
I just
United's
think-
lucky win.
I would imagine. I
Oh
would
yeah,
imagine
penalties
United.
on luck. So yeah.
I tell you what, I think it 2-1 United tomorrow night. But I wouldn't be surprised if, because life is weird and in football, it's probably best to expect the unexpected. Tottenham might turn around and do something, and that's the great beauty of football. You just don't know.
But
I don't
what would
think Tottenham fans will
What would
care.
Cloughy say? What would Cloughy say to Spurs in the dressing room before the game tomorrow, Dave? Come on, what would Cloughy say?
What would he say?
Yeah, what would he say?
I hope anybody's not stupid enough to write us off. That's what he's saying. Young man, pull your socks up, show some balls, and get out there and do it. That's what the old boy would say.
And that's what they need. But we've
If
got
you're
Ryan
saying-
Mason.
But I don't think Ryan Mason's the guy to do it. I think Ryan Mason. I tell you what, Ryan Mason is actually. Let's get on to Ryan Mason. Take Ryan Mason's life, what he came through to get to where he is now. You know, Ryan Mason has got some strength of character because that situation he was in a few years ago.
Strengths of character, yes, but he hasn't got a good team or any managerial.
I tell you what, I noticed Sunday was Harry Kane looking at. I mean, what Harry Kane might do tomorrow night. He might be looking at the red shirts or whatever and thinking, maybe that's where I want to be next year. Do you know what I mean?
Here we go. So far today, I've seen Harry Kane signing for Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, Bayern Munich. Jordan, just before we move on from the Tottenham Man United game, everyone in the chat, give me your score predictions for Thursday night. Jordan, can you put any hope our way of even a point? Are we that bad that we're not going to get a point?
I couldn't tell you what's going to happen at all, to be honest with you, mate. I mean, what you tell me? What's Mason going to do? What's he going to play? What formation is he going to play? 4, 5?
No one knows.
The fans have hated a 5 before.
I think
when
you
Mason
can't
was
do
in
a
charge.
4.
No, but I mean, but we've got Mason in charge now. Prior to when Jose left and Mason was in charge, we played a 4. He played Dele Alli in, put him in, put Bale in, went all out attack. I actually saw the stats on Twitter
but that's
today.
suicidal, bro.
No, I agree. I'm just saying.
Did you just say Bale and Dele Alli in the same conversation?
Wait.
Today's mark to say.
But this is my point. And then see on Twitter today, he won 4 out of the 5 games he played. Average possession was 60 to 70%, and we had more shots on goals and more shots on target. If we go and set up like that on Thursday, it could be a cricket score, couldn't it? But then if we go and set up with the 5 at the back and the 2 DMs that we usually do, and Kulusevski who can't beat a man, and Son who's criminally out of form, and Kane who doesn't want to be there, I don't know. I mean, it's a loss, but it could be 6-0, it could be 1-0.
Is Lloris fit?
Hopefully not for them.
I'll be honest, guys. I say shocked, but nothing shocks me at Spurs. I can't believe the moment Lloris got fit, he was back in because I don't know about you, Jordan. I didn't think Forster did anything
I thought
wrong.
Forster played well, actually, bar maybe the last game. He was you know, couldn't get down quick enough, but in reality, the Champions League game, he made a couple of great saves. In the other
Saved
game,
the penalty against us.
Yeah, but he also just made you feel more confident. I felt. I'll tell me if I'm wrong. I felt more assured.
I agree.
With him in there. Do you know what I mean? He's a big presence.
I felt like I had
stuff.
I felt like I had a man in goal rather than like an 18-year-old trying to make his way. Do you know what I mean?
But
like
for someone that's never been known as a goalkeeper to be good with their feet, I mean, it shows how terrible Lloris is his distribution. I felt like Fraser Forster. We had Edison in goal the way that he made a pass. Do you know what I mean? It was ridiculous, but yeah.
You know what is best? If Spurs fans just don't show up, mate. Like if you're on on this Levy out business, don't even show up. Don't show up to the stadium. Season ticket holders, especially. I know that's what I'm saying. I know he gets all touristy and all that, but everyone's got their ticket at the moment. Just don't show up. Go get a refund or something. I don't know. You probably won't get a refund, but
Yeah, but that never happens, Cass. That's like our stadium.
Yeah, but
as
we're
well. I mean,
we're
But at least you
No.
broke into the stadium and stormed the pitch and did whatever the fuck
like,
you
if
did.
I was Spurs fans, I can't lie. That's what I'd be doing.
got the green and yellow scarves out again. Do you know what I
I'm
mean?
not gonna
Have
lie.
you-
If I lived in Manchester, I'd be doing that.
Just quickly. First of all, what else is criminal is the fact that people aren't liking the show. Come on, man. Listen, the laugh and the fun and everything. Come on. I've even had one fan blaming me for Tottenham losing at the weekend. It's absolutely brilliant. I feel like I should read it out. Robin has said, Sava, why are the other YouTubers calling you names? They say you hounded Conte out of the club and you're not a real fan. How will I
Conte and
ever-
his millions of pounds payout? I was he got to think about Sava.
We have exclusive footage of Sava hounding Conte all the way to what's the airport in London called?
To Gatwick for the EasyJet
Gatwick
flight
or
to Italy.
Stansted.
Yeah, we have footage of that, but it's just for our group chat. We can't put it up there.
Listen, to be honest, Staffy, I've got one of those, like Batman's got that telephone line that goes straight through, right? I've got that to Levy, and I just go, Dan, Big Dan, get rid of Antonio. I don't like him. Get in Stellini. Hit the like button and all that good stuff. Listen, I want to talk about Man City Arsenal. I feel we'll do that before we get to some other stuff. Listen, no one here has got a horse in that race, so we can have an open, honest conversation about it. I don't think anyone here can catch Arsenal or City.
I beg to differ.
Here we go. Go on.
No. I provided a decent enough theory, yeah, because of the way the trajectory is going, and it can happen. To be fair, if we're talking about how crap Arsenal are being lately and all this garbage, like I was saying, Man United win all their games of the season, and Arsenal, it shouldn't be for the result for the teams that are left. Man United should realistically beat all the teams remaining, but then Arsenal got to, they got to go to Newcastle. Who's confident of Newcastle winning there, them dropping points? Man City's another game. Who's confident then dropping points? Man United's got 2 games in hand. There's a couple other games where they got to play some relegation sides as well, which ain't going to be easy for Arsenal. I think Southampton's just proved it. And I'm pretty sure they still got to play Brighton. And this is what I'm saying, their bogey team. And this is why I say, in theory, it could get a lot worse. But I don't believe it's going to happen. And I definitely don't have that sort of hope, not for my team, because we'll probably have to play someone that we're meant to battle, like Tottenham, and go get a point.
Okay, so you've all heard it. Kaz has just said that Arsenal are finishing third, Man United are finishing second.
If
that happens, I swear I need a bonus.
Listen, I don't condone what he just said. Everyone who knows, listen, Cass has been in this game longer than me. People know him.
I've been in it for 8 months.
He is shameless. People know him. He knows he is shameless. He's admitted it so many times. So I'm here. I'm new here. I don't want my reputation being damaged by what we just said.
You know, Staffy. Yeah, when you get into the YouTube world of stuff, right? Talking all this context and all this stuff in the end isn't as fun as you think it is. And when I was like that when I first joined, and I realized I don't like that. You know what I did? I blamed Saba. So. What I did, I thought, let me just change my tune up a little bit. What I like to do is it's not just even being shameless.
Get it trending. Hashtag blame Sava.
But I just said in theory it can happen with the games that are remaining. But yeah, of course. And for me, I like it when football's just fun and there's banter in it, and I'm not trying to be like flipping Sky Sports. If I want to go and talk context all day long, I'll go watch one of them mugs on there, and then or BT, or even worse, Talk Sport, and then go from there. I'm like, you know what? Let me try and get on talk some context or something like that, and then add a little bit of prep.
But
without talking context, Man City versus Arsenal tomorrow night. It's a huge game. I don't know about anyone else. I feel like we could have different answers here, right? I'm guessing Jordan, me and you, I'm guessing both want Man City to snap Arsenal all over the place. What about the United lads down the bottom? Because obviously, I mean, do you hate Man City as much as we hate Arsenal? That you want Arsenal to win? What are you guys thinking?
No, I want Arsenal to win.
Theoretically, we do want Arsenal to win, yes, because we don't like Man City more than we don't like Arsenal. We just don't like Arsenal fans. We don't know Man City fans. Listen, I live in a different country. I don't fucking know any Man City fans here. Cass is the one that has to deal with him, so he has a bigger issue on his hand than me. If they win the league, I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to wake up to 0 texts. This guy's going to wake up to maybe 100. I don't know. So it sucks for him more than it sucks for me, you know.
My
But
phone's going on. Do not disturb.
but no, I mean, like, we would rather Arsenal win. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think it has City written all over it. You know, the only thing right now is like they're going for a treble, and I'm just more concerned about my team stopping the treble. I have no hope in Arsenal. I like Cass just said, they're about to lose like their next 3 games. So what makes me believe they have any chance against City? Anything can happen. I just don't see it happening. You know, I see a spanking coming up.
No, I think Arsenal will win it.
I've been vocal. I've been really vocal, like talking about Jordan. Let me bring you in here before I go to Dave. I've been really vocal saying that I think City are gonna put 4 or 5 past them. I went like in front
I
of
would love it. I can't lie. I'd love it.
I went in front of like I don't know how many thousands of people on the
How
football terrace
famous are you, mate?
and on Big Six saying City will definitely put a minimum of 4 past Arsenal. Arsenal haven't got Saliba. They haven't got Gabriel. I'm hearing they haven't got Xhaka as well.
Wait, Gabriel is out. You mean Gabriel or Ben White?
So I don't. Oh, I heard it was Saliba and is it either Gabriel or Holding? One of them's not there, and it's going to be that Kiwior, I believe. That's what
I've heard that as well.
Oh, I didn't.
There's no way Gabriel is complete. Let me check this. There's no way.
I saw
one of them. Sorry,
in a right back position. Igal was saying, "Oh, he wants Partey starting as a right back," and I'm like, but what happened? Like, first of all, you this is the best DM in the league apparently by what they said, and all of a sudden you want to take him out of his best position and put him in a right back. I mean, I wouldn't take Casemiro out of his position to put him in a right back, but I didn't know that Gabriel is injured or he's out. I don't know what happened.
I think it's Holding, not Gabriel. I know that one of them is. I know that one of the 2 centre backs, other than Saliba, is out, and Xhaka's out, which means either they put Zinchenko into midfield or Jorginho. I don't know what they're going to do there. But Jordan, I've gone balls deep and said 4-5 goals for Man City here.
Yeah.
Can you see it? I mean, the way Man City are playing and the way Arsenal are playing at City. What are you thinking?
Firstly, I'm impressed. I mean, I've been watching your streams more than being on them. I can't remember how long ago it was, months ago. You called this downfall when you were still banging the drum for City catching up and eventually winning the league. I mean, it's yet to happen, right? But all signs are there, and I'm here for it. Yeah, I can't see anything more than a City win. I mean, Arsenal pulled out some big performances this year, haven't they? So it could happen, but I think the injuries are the biggest thing. You saw them with Vieira in the midfield. That was a big difference to having Xhaka in there, wasn't it? I think as soon as you've lost Saliba, the drop off to Rob Holding is
huge.
It's criminal. I mean, he's got a great hairline now, but his defender's got no better in it. So
that's all you look for in your men now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hairlines. That's all you like.
I'm doing all right still.
But Kaz, you're doing all right. But Jordan, the thing for me is I remember before the Arsenal City game at what they call at the Emirates.
Yeah.
All the Arsenal fans were telling me, listen, we're playing the best football in the league right now. We're going to beat Man City. Yeah. Man City at that point weren't Man City forward 2.5, 3 months.
No.
Arsenal haven't played a team this good this year, have they?
No, but I think that's what I didn't see when I saw you going on about I still think Arsenal will drop off and City will go relentless and go on their 10, 15 game sort of winning streak because they always do. But even when they've faltered a bit in the past, you could see what was happening and you could see it was just a matter of time. For me, I've watched them the majority of this season and gone, okay, they were picking up points, but they didn't look connected as they had done previously. And then it's just gone bang out of nowhere for me. Grealish has become incredible for me. I think he's been one of the players at the second half of the season. Mahrez, I mean, the list goes on, but they just look relentless now. They look incredible. So, I mean, if you're asking me for a score prediction, I won't put one on it, but 5-0 I'll absolutely take. But I just can't see. I think Arsenal could score goals, but I can't see them keeping out City with the injuries they got. So
they have 14 goals conceded in the last 10, something like that. So
who Arsenal?
I look, Staffy. Apparently, they're great defense. They've only conceded 3 less than Man United, and Man United be spanked 7 in one game, 6 in another, or 4 in another. But yet you know, the narrative changes whenever it wants to, doesn't it?
And Dave, let me come to you. Let me come to you quickly. Sava's going to be in the mud again. I don't know what that means again. Apparently, this is why my skin is so nice. It's all the mud baths that I keep having from all the correct predictions I keep getting right. What do you make of it, Dave? Are this Man City team too good for Arsenal the way they're playing right now, or just in general?
Yeah, they are. Do you know what? I've always thought City were the finished article with the nous and the know-how and the experience of getting it done. And I've thought all season Arsenal are a work in progress. I've always felt that even when that league got as stretched out as it did, that City would come and get them. In fact, the last time City played poorly was at our place when we drew 1-1 with them. Do you know what I mean? And since that moment, they've gone on this run. And they just, I've always felt with City that they're just head and shoulders above everybody. Even when they were like not getting results, and like Jordan says about Jack Grealish. I mean, we had a conversation on here about 4 weeks ago where somebody was on here saying Jack Grealish isn't what he was at Villa. Jack Grealish is like
that was a Mr. Box Office, literally, Dave, to give you some insight. And Alex, if you're watching Mr. Box Office, I love you, dude. But me and him just had a conversation that went something like this in another WhatsApp group. Just listen, right? This was the conversation. It was, Alex, do you still believe that Erling Haaland is just an above average John Carew? He's put Sava, he's a good finisher, but he can't do anything else. I said, Alex, the guy's got 48 goals. He's 22 years of age, right? And it's his first year in the Premier League. Yeah, but it's a really bad Premier League. I'm like, yes, it's a really bad Premier League. You could say that all you want, but he's got 48 goals in all competitions. He's got about 13 in the Champions League, and he's banging them in for fun. Bicycle kicks from outside the area, running through, tap-ins, you name it. And he was like, yeah, but it's just my opinion. He needs to prove me wrong, he said, just like Jack Grealish has. I mean, what do you do with that?
What do you mean?
Savvy, his views that night seemed so entrenched.
Listen,
I
bet he thinks Alan Shearer's. I bet you think that must mean Alan Shearer's also. You know, he's not such a really good footballer. He's just a good finisher, isn't he?
I just want to say, I heard Haaland is not sleeping at night because of that. So lay off.
He's worried. He's worried.
Lay off on him a little bit because we need him for that Arsenal game. Okay, he's my captain. So give him a break, bro, please.
To go back to tomorrow night, though, I can't see anything but a City win. I don't. You know, it might not be a striping, but
what do you think happens?
I think for Arsenal, I go back to this. For talking context, if we go right back to the start of August, and us five sit here, right, and we say, are Arsenal going to win the league? We all each ask each other that direct question. Not one of us is going to pick Arsenal as like. I think we probably all have said at the start of the season it's likely to be a Liverpool City battle with maybe United getting on it. Arsenal, I think Arsenal are ahead of their schedule, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But they're just not as good, you know, as City have been. And I always felt like it was a matter of time when City did their greatest trick, which is to get right into top form when you're in the business end and when it matters.
But they
really get it.
They always
and this is what makes them such a good side. I mean, you know, I went to the Etihad in August when they beat us 6-0, and I'm knocking on a bit, and I've seen a lot of football in my life, but I've never seen a team as good as that. They were absolutely brilliant. And then from then on, it was a surprise to me, having seen them do that. I mean, we're a poor side. We're basically still a championship side, and they should hammer us. But you see it and you think, God, they're not going to drop any points anywhere. So when they lost these games and they dropped these points, you couldn't see it happening. But I just think now, I mean, I think we talked on here last week about heritage. Do you remember, Sav? We had this conversation about certain teams have got. Like,
feel free to go the full hog and plug the show while you're heritage.
That's the name.
Do you know what I mean? But we talked about like teams having heritage in Europe, like Real Madrid, and the heritage in this country. In recent years is Manchester City. So I cannot see Arsenal winning there tomorrow night. Whether then their season tails off, I don't. I'd like their season to tail off. I'd like them to come to us at the City Ground, last home game of our season, and for them to be like in limbo, having like not got close and having not won nothing, and we'll have loads to play for, and they won't. I want them to come to us on May the 20th at tea time and have bugger all to play for. You know what I mean? But City win tomorrow night. I think City win 3-1 tomorrow night.
So, okay, I agree. I think it will be 4 or 5-0, but that's just me. Kaz, you seem to think that Arsenal can go there and
this is no
get
logic.
something?
There's nothing behind it, nothing like
Go
that.
for
It's
it.
just pure hope. So only logic I can apply behind it is the same logic I'll apply to Tottenham. The first time I think this season, I think Arsenal go into this as the underdog in a game, because 4 weeks ago or so we was talking about how Arsenal were probably going to win this game and it's going to be long for City pretty much, with the way they were playing at that point in time. But I think this time they go there. But I think missing Xhaka, and if they play, I don't know what they're going to play in centre mid. I don't know what they're going to play in defensive midfield. They're going to put Thomas Partey in the centre, then put Jorginho behind. If you can't play that Portuguese eyelash, Fabio Vieira, you literally, I'm not even joking, you just look, like all you got to do is look at the geezer and he'll just fall over. So
I love that.
So what's it called?
Does it matter who plays Kaz? Like, let's be fair, even if Arsenal are full strength, can you see them coping with City's movement off the ball, the power, the pace?
Yeah. If City had Saliba, they would have won that game against West Ham, and they would have won that game against Southampton. 100%. He's a bit different gravy when it comes to when you take out one factor out of the team. It does disrupt everything, all flows, etc. It'd be like taking Bentancur out of Tottenham.
Yeah, I agree.
Disrupted all sorts of football. So, in my opinion, I think Arsenal can get something, but they're lucky that they don't have Nathan Ake. City tomorrow. They've got to have to play Laporte at left back, and Saka might have some fun. Like, I'll be really honest, they could have some fun down that side because Laporte's barely played any games this season, and he doesn't have Ake recovery pace, and he can't get out the pitch as much as Ake either. So they're gonna. I don't know if there's Sergio Gomez again. I think Saka's gonna have a bit of fun, and I think that's where they can counter it. And I think the way Arsenal can transition can really hurt City, and I don't really want to write them off just yet. I think it's going to be a lot closer game than people think, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good game. It has to be, and if Arsenal want any hope, they cannot afford a draw.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, yeah. Listen, I do agree with you, but I mean, what we have seen lately is Pep Guardiola just seems to keep coming up with these
new solutions,
solutions to these problems.
One thing,
Saliba's I think I agree. Saliba is a massive loss, actually.
Yeah. Massive.
He's probably been the one player that's made the biggest difference to Arsenal this year. I mean, he kind of came from nowhere, but at the start of the season, he was absolutely fantastic. So he's a huge loss for them tomorrow night.
I think one more thing. I think they haven't had a tinker with their whole back line for a while now, and that was Pep's solution. And Ake was their best defender out of every single one of them.
Yeah.
Now he has to tinker.
Point.
Now he has to. He has, but that's where you say, is he due a good game now though? So Jesus gonna have a point to prove. Zinchenko's gonna have a point to prove against the old manager. They're gonna want to do it. You know, it was like last time they were at Etihad. Arsenal were still moving quite good, even without Saliba when they did play Rob Holding, and he did a pretty good job on Haaland. If I'm being honest, they were lucky to lose that game, win that game 1-0. But for me, he hasn't had to tinker that back four. Now he has to tinker that back four, back three, whatever you want to call it, and see where he goes from there with Pep Guardiola, which I find might be a little kink in the armor. Potentially.
Possibly. You know he'll do something though, right? It's just what he does. I mean, Staffy, what do you make of it after Kaz giving us loads of rational context that he said he wasn't going to apply and he just did? What do you make of the game for tomorrow? Kaz, you know you did.
I know. I didn't want to, but logic. I was just gonna say, yeah, I just hope they win, innit? But then I just thought about it for a second. It's like, okay, because I've got to go on DR Media on Thursday, and I don't know what I'm gonna have to say if they lose. The majority of them obviously support Arsenal. Laurie, you got Laurie Lyle. I swear on my, you better win this game.
Listen,
I think, Laurie.
I think that's the Man United fan in Cass speaking. That's his hope. You know, I think he hangs out too much with Arsenal fans. I don't know if he was on Igal's channel or something, because he sounds like a little bit brainwashed today.
No, it's not that. It's look, Arsenal.
Kaz is turning into a gal.
No, they've drawn 3 games in a row, and it's bad for Arsenal, isn't it? And I've had that little bit of meltdown with not winning. That's all I've been waiting to hear all season long. But now I've got Daps, who I run a channel with, by the way, as you know, Staffy and whatnot. And there's obviously other City fans that follow me, thanks to obviously Daps and the channel and whatnot. And I swear on my life, their confidence is getting on my nerves. The treble is I'm not joking. If they win a treble, I don't care what we win. I don't care what we've done this season. I will be fuming for the rest of the summer. I'll be annoyed.
Is this treble?
Which
Is
is
this if they do a treble? Sorry, Staffy, I'll come to you in 1 second to get that answer. If they do the treble, it's an if at the moment, but we're literally like 11 games away from finding out. Is this a better treble than Man United's treble,
No.
or if you're doing trebles, is it just a treble?
Nah. You know what? If I'm being honest, it's just as good, mate. I don't care what money they've spent at the end of the day, and I suppose the way Man United won it in that manner that they did as well, being 1-0 down, I think that's special in itself. It's a moment that everyone will always remember. No one's going to remember. No one's going to remember a potential Inter Milan and flipping City final. If I'm being honest.
No, you know what, Cass? You know what? I think this one, I don't think it's better, but I think it resembles more dominance. Where ours, there was more magical moments in it. You know,
yeah, because people were pointing their fingers. Oh, but they spent 2 billion, whatever the crap it is, and then be like, they should win it. They literally bought it. I'm like, yeah, but in this day and age, everyone spends money in it. So
Everyone, yeah, this one. That argument makes me laugh, guys, as well. You know, when people go, "Oh, Pep spent 1.2 billion," it's like, I'd love to know in that same time, what have Real Madrid spent, Barca spent, Chelsea spent, listen, Spurs have spent loads of money, Liverpool spent money, Arsenal's. Everyone spends money.
It's hypocritical.
It's no guarantee of success, though, is it? Money's no guarantee. Every transfer you make, every transfer you make is a gamble, because you could spend 200 million on the greatest player the world's ever seen. A week later, he does his Achilles tendon out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? So I think this idea, I really annoyed with. They've spent all this money. Oh, you guaranteed a victory, are you? These are human beings, remember. So I don't buy this idea that they spent a lot of money.
Listen,
it helps.
Any of us here would love for our owners to invest that much money from their own pocket into the club. There's not one person here that would say no. I'm sitting here. I'm begging my cousins in Qatar, please buy my club. If anyone didn't know, get that joke, is because I'm married. I'm begging my cousins in Qatar, please buy the club, get the Glazers out. I have an outfit ready. When we win, I'm going to go on a live stream and I'm going to wear a traditional Arab wear to celebrate the overtime. So we can all here sit and complain and bitch about how much they invested in the club. Oh, they bought their success or whatever. Yeah, I get it. But you would love it too. So let's
do you know the thing for me, Staffy, with it is there's lots of clubs that have spent a lot of money that still never reach the heights that Man City have. Yeah. So you can spend that money, but to have that dominance, that style of play, that hunger for 5, 6, 7 years in a row, to continually get those players to run through brick walls for you like Guardiola does at Man City, you could say, look how much money, I'll talk about you boys. You boys have spent a bucket load since Ferguson left and haven't had anywhere near the success. So yes, spending money is important, but you've also got to have a manager.
Some of they've also sold well. Like they sold players for big money. Like you see the big number and go, that's a big number to spend, but they've recouped a big amount of money as well.
Like I don't think
if you look at the fees as well, I mean, bar Jack Grealish, I mean, who's over 60, 70 million? There's not many of them. Cancelo's for 20, 30 million. They just the recruitment's just
Alvarez.
Incredible.
Get Alvarez. I mean, I think Alvarez is going to be the next Aguero, the way that kid's playing. You know what I mean? I mean, where did he come from? Before the start of the season, I would never have heard of him. I mean, this idea of money, right? Let's put my club in here. We spent 160, 170 million. We might be going to bloody Plymouth, Argyle, and Ipswich Town in 2 or 3 months' time. So again, it just proves, we're glad we've got an owner who's chucking money at it, but he's chucked money around, and a lot of what he's paid his money out on is crap. Do you know what I mean? So
how many duds, Dave? How many duds has Pep bought in the last 7 years? Is it 7 years? Been 66?
Very few, Sav. I mean, if you think about it, it looked for a while like Jack might be a dud, but Jack has proved that wrong, and he's bought very few. Nathan Ake, I think, is a brilliant case in point, because when Nathan Ake came from Bournemouth, it's this idea of like, he was at Bournemouth, he can't be that good. I actually think he's the best Dutch defender in the world at the moment. I think he's outplaying Virgil van Dijk by a long way at the moment, Nathan Ake. So I think all these clubs that do well, So you take like the three that stick him up. City recruit well, but look at Brighton. Somebody at Brighton can pick footballers. Somebody at Brentford can pick footballers, and it's about having a joined up recruitment policy, chucking money at it willy nilly.
It's foresight as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Someone like
absolutely, Jordan.
They're duds for a season, right? And it's almost like Pep can see the drop off of somebody that's in his starting 11 before it's even happened, and then he's got 18 months to get that new recruit up to speed within his system. So when that drop off happens,
what he also does, Jordan, what he also does, mate. Sorry to cut across here, is he sees a long game, if you like. So Phil Foden. We all talked about Phil Foden at 17. We just take my time with Phil Foden. He's going to take his time with Alvarez. He'll take his time with Rico Lewis. He'll take his time. It's almost, I mean, maybe the one thing that the money does buy Manchester City, it buys them the time.
Yeah, but you never need a rebuild either, because it's a constant drip refresh.
Exactly, mate.
Never 3-4 years.
It's called in business, mate. It's called succession planning.
Well, this is what we talked about, Dave. This is what we talked about with. I feel that like when people were saying about Grealish, it looked like he was going to be a dud. I think people went so quickly to the 100 million figure rather than what Pep Guardiola does over here. And I remember saying at the time, like I've watched Pep Guardiola since he was managing the youth team at Barcelona. You know, remember the good old days when Barca and Madrid were on Sky every weekend rather than the 94 channels they've been on since, right? But Pep does this all the time. Unless you are a anomaly like Erling Haaland, who goes straight in the 11 and plays every game. He did this with Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Rodri, Mahrez. The first season you come in, you don't go straight in that 11. You play a game, then you're on the bench. You're on the bench for a few. And I kept saying to people, Grealish is a maverick from Aston Villa, who needs to learn how to be a team player at Man City. And now you're seeing this season where he's phenomenal, and still people are trying to whack him down about stats. And they asked Pep about it a couple of weeks ago. They said, "Oh, he's still not scoring or assisting enough." And he said, "If that's what you think Jack's in the team to do, then you don't understand my team." And it was like, thank you. Someone said it. Do you know what I mean? And that for me, like you said, Dave, sorry to rant over your point. It's the long game. You said Alvarez will do it. They've bought that new bloke in midfield.
Cole Palmer. They're doing it with Cole Palmer. He's another one.
They'll do it. Yeah. And I know, and this is what I think.
Succeed, though.
But this is what Man United used to do, right? Guys, tell me if I'm wrong. This is what Man United under Fergie did for years with the Neville brothers, Beckham, even Lee Sharp, Ryan Giggs, Nicky Butts, the Fletchers, the John O'Shea's, the Wes Browns. But United lost that identity, and that's what I think United now are trying to recreate. How hard it is to bring in
how hard it is to bring in a youth product when when your team stinks, and it's hard to put them in a losing team, or a losing atmosphere, like how Man United, like Garnacho's just come through the ranks. At least that's I think Greenwood did as well. You could say that was the odd player, but there's a lot of gems. There's a lot of gems in Man United currently. Again, finally,
Marcus is the best one recently.
Through John Murto, when he went around Europe and started getting all these ballers. You're seeing that people don't realize some of these. Alvaro Fernandez at Preston this season, like honestly, mental, mate. So good. Gerardo. There's a lot. Cher Lacey, 16, playing in the under 18s at the moment. He looks like Foden. He is ridiculous. Now, when I say Cher Lacey, you're gonna remember the name when he eventually plays. The guy's stupid. He's gonna play under 21s next season as a 16-year-old boy. You know what I mean? It's like I get what you mean. It's the lost identity, because now you're seeing great prospects come from like Man City. Look at Lavia, look at Bazunu, who went to Southampton and all that. He's got to get first team football, and he's not the only one. I can't remember his name. There's this wicked prospect at it begins with a B. I think he's Portuguese. He plays for Man City's academy. I can't remember his name exactly right now, but he is stupid good and physical, and he's a winger, and he's fast.
You're talking a different language to people like me and Jordan. We've never seen an identity or
Tottenham's academy hasn't really been great. Yeah, I know.
Didn't you guys just win the under 16s? Something like that? You guys won the under 16s, under 17s Premier League?
We won the under 17s. and we won't see any of them
West Ham
play.
just won.
We'll take City's releases, isn't it? With Pedro Porro, we'll take him. 40 million. That's
I saw the United kids last year. The United kids played the Forest kids in the Youth Cup final last year, and I remember watching Garnacho that night, and you thought, "Wow, what a player he is!" And there were some other really, really good lads. The only sadness, I mean, that night at Old Trafford, there were 70,000 in the ground for the United under-17s and the Forest under-17s, and the only sad thing that you thought both sets of lads were fantastic to watch. United and our lads played all right, even though they were kind of outclassed in the end. And it's just like, how many of these are actually going to get there? And at the moment, from like United's got Garnacho's got him, but he's kind of in and out.
But you know what the issue is, Dave? Like Cass said, it's hard to come up in this team when you've been stinking for years, and like we don't have anything good going on for a while, except like maybe this season. All right, it's been a little bit more positive with Ten Hag and whatnot. But like when your team is not performing, the fans typically they just look for a youth product coming up just to grasp onto and look. This is our product. His red, born and bred. And it just puts too much pressure on these kids. And this is why I feel like most of them don't even make it, because as Sava mentioned, look how well Phil Foden was nurtured under Pep Guardiola from 17 years old, and everyone told him, "Oh, you should leave the club like Sancho did," and
go on loan.
Go on loan. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing in Germany, tearing it up with the Bayern Munich, with the what's it called, Dortmund. But you look at them, bro. They always nurture their players really well. Well, we just throw our players in, and I feel like our fans just get excited. Garnacho's already being called the next Ronaldo. People saying next season give him the number 7 jersey. I'm like, for fuck's sake, the guy just played like fucking 10 games for us, scored a couple goals, and everyone's saying give him the number 7 jersey. How many players that we have that took the number 7 jersey and tanked with it? And these were like senior players, let alone a youth, So it's just like
it's because Staffy. It's because it's a game of short-termism. I want my 5-0 win now. I don't want to work. I don't want to look down the line for it. Everybody wants everything now, and it kind of, the way City are and the way they're organised, it's almost like they're buying themselves the time. United want everything. I do think with United, right, looking in from United, and having seen the history of United from like Sir Matt to Sir Alex and Ron Atkinson in between, and I do think Manchester United now have a guy that is going to instill discipline into that club. I think it's the first guy since Sir Alex went who can actually, I won't say he'll ever fill Sir Alex's shoes, but he can actually try them on. Ralph Rangnick couldn't, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't, David Moyes couldn't, Louis van Gaal couldn't do it. I think United were always going to have a fallow period following one of the greatest managers of all time. Nottingham Forest, our fallow period lasted 30 years because we just couldn't follow Cloughy. Liverpool couldn't follow Paisley. And it's just, I think Eric Ten Hag is fantastic, right? From the moment he dealt with a poisonous ego and fired him up the road, because I thought, last year Manchester United were actually managed by a player. I'm not joining in training. You look like a professor. I'm not playing for you. And Ralph Rangnick came in and he said, "Tell you what, Ronaldo, my team, get gone." Right. And as soon as he got rid of Ronaldo, I remember watching Ronaldo at Brentford when they were getting beat 4-0. And Ronaldo would make a mistake and then look round, and all the other United lads were almost like too afraid to tell him he was crap.
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, they all were on eggshells around Big Ed. And then as soon as Eric Ten Hag started leaving him out, United became so much a better side. It's almost like you can imagine these kids playing for Manchester United saying, "Well, he bollocks us, but we can't bollock him." And I actually think Ronaldo, the only reason Ronaldo went to United, right, and I think he was a nuisance to United. He stopped United's development, and United are far better without him. He went to the Etihad, and Pep went, "Sorry, mate, we're a team here. You don't run back. We don't want you here." And him and his agents stood in the car park at the Etihad and thought, "Tell you what, why don't we try that lot over there?" And it was about shirt sales and advertising and this corporate nonsense. And I think United, the best thing United did, he got rid of Ronaldo at the right time. So I think Eric Ten Hag now It's the best thing to happen to Manchester United probably for a decade. That's my view. And I'm
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. We won't need to ask Dave who he prefers in the Messi Ronaldo debate after that little skit. I think we've got an answer to that one.
Yeah.
Just quickly,
Right.
we're only go for another 10 minutes, but just quickly, Aaron, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube channel member. Thank you very much to anyone who is a channel member. It's much appreciated. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't. We are just 200 away now from 5K, so we're swimming along nicely. And please go over and subscribe to Never a Foul Media. And Staffy, you got a channel?
I don't yet. So very soon for the next season, I'm gonna have my channel ready.
Perfect.
But I am on Twitter, on Instagram. So if you want to stay up to date to get all these news, do we have the Twitter handles posted or not? I mean,
yeah, of course.
At the end of the show, maybe we'll show them. But you can find me on Instagram and Twitter then.
Guys, just for the last 10 minutes, because I'm not a fan of having 4.5 hour YouTube shows anymore. Used to. Guys, the big news this week is definitely, other than Spurs fulfilling the PR machine completely, is Pochettino going to Chelsea. And look, depending on who you support, depending on whether you're someone at Spurs who just cannot let go of their ex-girlfriend, it's causing ruptures, right? I've seen Spurs fans going, like, Spurs fans like me are like, I don't care. He's not our manager. He hasn't been for nearly 5 years. Some Spurs fans are distraught. Why didn't Levy try and get him back? I thought he loved Spurs. Some Chelsea fans think he's great. He'll really build with those young players they've bought. Some Chelsea fans are saying he's not good enough for us. He's not a winner. Where do you guys sit with Poch to Chelsea? Because Romano's just tweeted that it's literally happening imminently. So where do you guys sit with it all?
Can I start with that one?
Go on.
All right, because I feel like I'm the only one who's saying that. And a lot of people, if there's any Chelsea fans here, you're not going to like what I'm going to say. This is the best appointment.
Spoiled shits anyways, man. Who cares?
No, listen. This is the best appointment this club would have made. I'm not with that Luis Enrique hype. I'm not on that Julian Nagelsmann hype. Who else was on it? Vincent Kompany. I respect what Vincent Kompany's doing, but he better stay off from this for now. He's doing a good job with Burnley. This is the best guy that I believe Chelsea would have gotten. I think I said it on the show that we were on yesterday, Sava. I was saying he's the only one from the lot that is Premier League proven. He has coached the Spurs players that he had in his earlier years when they were a bunch of nobodies still. They were young and upcoming. They were still no names. He made that team. They played entertaining football. He had minimal to no resources with Daniel Levy. He went 2 years with no signings, and he was good enough to take this team that he had to multiple top 4 finishes. And if you're a young Spurs fan or a young Premier League fan, we grew up on a different Spurs. Spurs was not a consistent top 4 team. So to them, that was them punching above their weight. That was before the money for Spurs. That was before the Kanes and Sons and all that. So if you think this is normal for Spurs, they weren't like that. So this is actually the highest they've been, like, for as long as I've been alive, at least, you know? And I just think him being given Todd Bowley's money and that spending power, Todd Bowley just needs someone to sit him down and say, listen, get off these drugs that you're taking because you're too hyper for us. We need you to sit down. This is not Football Manager, you know? Stop taking all that pre-workout and eating all that sugar. You're too hyper for us. You sit down. I'll tell you where to spend your money, okay?
Who said that? Who say that?
Well, I'm saying Chelsea fans should tell. Sorry, not Chelsea fans. Whoever the manager
apparently,
is.
To be fair, you know what's funny? Apparently, the people that actually meant to run the job correctly actually Todd Bowley let them decide who the manager's going to be, and apparently this is going to be their signing.
Yeah, but when James Corden is your advisor, what do you expect? James Corden, didn't he tell them to get?
I'm really,
yeah, I heard
sure,
that. Yeah.
I'm sure that's
no Stacey.
And one more thing,
hang on, just quickly. I'm sure the whole James Corden thing is probably being blown well out of proportion to what actually happened.
I heard it way too many times.
As funny as it is, but as funny as it is, do you really believe Todd Bowley, when he's hired, Todd Bowley, one of his first acts was to hire the I'm I can't remember his name for love nor money, the technical director of football from RB Leipzig. I can't think of his name. Whoever he hired. You think that he hired a technical director of football with good knowledge of Europe and then didn't ask him, but instead went, hang on, hold that. I'm just going to call James Corden from the Late Late Show. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, surely we're not believing that, are we?
I mean, I don't know what to believe with this.
I don't believe this is a good signing appointment. I'll be honest.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
I just
look, there's something called Chelsea fan base. They're not patient. You're going to need patience with Pochettino. He wasn't exactly dynamite at PSG with all the funds, so it goes to show there. Anyways, he had all the tools at his disposal.
but that
right
team was already made.
He's a bit of a yes. He's a bit of a yes man, if we're being totally honest as well. He's not like a 10-arg yes man because he's not, because that's the different type of characters. Yes sir, please serve 3 bags more, like kind of situation with me with Poch. He ain't a serial winner, something that Chelsea fans are going to want, a proven winner at least. And for me, I just don't think it's a good appointment. I think this is more like third, fourth choice. This is not their first choice. They wanted Nagelsmann. He rejected them. Enrique didn't want to believe in a project, but all of a sudden you want to believe in a project from Pochettino. I swear, how long's Pochettino been out of a job for now? A year or so? Something like that?
Yeah, but can I ask you a question then, Kaz?
I just think he's a little bit outdated. And what I find a bit unfair on Poch is that he's going to have to sell before he buys. And I think you're already in a losing battle there, slightly.
But let me ask you, hard to sell players over there. There's a lot of garbage that you could sell over there.
You know what, Poch, for me, sorry, Sav, the one issue with me is the ego part of Chelsea squad. So the Chelsea squad, and what I remember is a final of Spurs and Liverpool, and he's decided to choose Kane over Lucas Moura, who's having a sensational season. And that just goes to show to me, you don't really have the bottle to drop big names when they need to either. And that's something Chelsea fans had a big issue with Potter as well, until he started finally dropping Mason Mount. So for me,
let me ask you then, Kaz. Let me ask you, right? So the only way I look at this is, yes, I completely agree with you. If we take the Chelsea fan base in isolation, I don't think the Chelsea fan base, certainly for the last 20 years, are used to the situation they're in, right? They're so used to trophies, and they're the most decorated club of the last 2 decades, right?
Yeah, of course.
Park that for one side. So yeah, of course, you've got to get them on board. But for me, when I look at the fact that Chelsea have signed 14, look, I always thought it was going to be difficult for Chelsea this year. New owners, new manager, 14 new players, new technical director of football. You know, it's not Football Manager. It was never just going to go.
Yeah, you're going to need someone. You're going to need a manager that's going to be communication, which is Poch.
Right. But more than anything, if you look at the 14 players they've signed in the last 2 windows, the 14 players they've signed, 12 of those players are 24 and under. Right, so they're all a good age, good engine, right? Can all run. Now, Jordan will back me up here as a Spurs fan. That is, sorry, Dave, I'm just going to put you on mute. Jordan, you'll back me up on this. That is Poch's sweet spot in terms of what he does when he goes into a club well. It's not the big egos that, like at PSG. It was when he picked up Kane when he was 21, 22.
Exactly.
Son when he was 23, 24.
That's an anomaly, mate.
Even in Southampton,
Hang on. But this is my point. Poch plays a certain way. He likes that pressing football with young players that will listen to him and run through brick walls for him. All of the young players that Chelsea have bought, they're not bad players. They've just had no real steady guidance, right? You think he's already got Badiashile and Fofana at the back with James and Chilwell. Now you look at players like Enzo Fernandez, who's what, 21, 20?
Yeah, they're from the same country as well, I suppose. Yeah.
Mudrik's 23, 24. Madwiki, they've got Nkunku coming in. Conor Gallagher will be one of his best players. I can guarantee you that, because he will love his pressing. He will love his pressing. Mason Mount, he will love that. Jordan, what do you make of what I've just said? Nonsense or?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think as well, I mean, it may not work out that way just due to the sheer volume of first-team players they've already got in that squad. But I just think the academy that he's got access to as well over there is his dream, right? And I think you'll see some bigger names, not the ones they most recently signed, but you'll see some people get shipped out the door. I think people like Thiago Silva eventually will go and get gone, albeit he's probably been one of their best performers of late, right? But I just think it will...
Ziyech, Pulisic.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll all start to-
Aspilicueta,
they'll all
Aubameyang.
start to go. Not to the same level, but you saw when he did it with the likes of Kabul and players like that when he first came to Tottenham. He'll have a clear out. And his biggest thing is having players that are mouldable, that don't have a predisposed idea of how they played previously and a system that they're so stuck on, and really players that have won big things before that think they know how to do it better. He likes players that are naive to how to have success. Not that he's had, like you say, the great success with the big trophies, but I think it's the perfect time for someone like Poch to go into a club like that. I think you will get resistance when you, like you say, from certain fans that are used to success over the last 20 years. But I think they're slowly coming to terms with that's not going to be how they move forward, and potentially this is the better option for them. And I think it'll work. And in terms of the Spurs reaction, Sav, which you mentioned at the start, I'm more like you, where we never called him. I never really particularly was that keen to have him back. I'd like a Nagelsmann or somebody like that. But I understand why there's a level of pain from Spurs fans, because for a lot of us, maybe not yourself, Sav, that's seen more than one trophy lifted in your lifetime from our club. But for someone like me, Poch was probably the last sustained amount of joy we've had watching our football club play. So I understand the pain of now watching him go to one of our fiercest rivals in Chelsea. So, but
I just think, children. I just think as well. Like when you're talking there, I can see a lot of similarities in players that he picked up at Spurs to what he'll pick up here, and I think
Reece James plays like that as well for someone like
right. He'll love them, but like what Dave was saying just now hit the nail on the head for me. The right nowism. So, for example, when you're seeing people in the chat saying Mudryk is terrible, we're talking about a guy who hasn't even started 6 Premier League games, and straight away it's Mudryk is terrible. Hang on, let's see what he does with a manager when they get a settled team playing once a week in Europe, get rid of the old guard, get him into a team where they actually have a style of play. Let's give the guy a year before we go, oh, he's absolutely terrible, because he's not terrible. Enzo Fernandez is a very, very good, for me, he's a top midfielder. Badashile, Fofana, these are good signings that need to be, they need someone like Poch who puts his arm around them. I think where Poch struggles is if he actually goes to the checkbook and goes, right, where's the big name? That's where I think Poch struggles.
That's the only part that he's yet to prove, because when he was with Spurs, the minute he reached that point where, okay, I'm ready to win, but I might need 1 or 2, 3, maybe 3 players world class just to get over that edge and win that Premier League or win that Champions League final. That's when he didn't get the backup, because he was getting no signings because you guys were building that stadium. And he's just, for the rest of his life, is going to be known as a loser who just, finished 2nd and 3rd and lost the Champions League final when he was never supposed to be there. You know what I mean? That's the thing that, I defend Poch a lot on that, because I didn't see those last inch backings from the ownership and Daniel Levy, where he's like, here you go, we're gonna give you, how Liverpool added Van Dijk and Alisson, just those last 2 pieces in the puzzle to win something. Pochettino never got that. We saw him do. Yeah, I get it, but everyone has to win their first trophy at some point. You weren't a winner until you became one.
Yeah, but you're talking about ifs and, for me, you're talking about ifs and maybes. Oh, if you can do that, if you got to know that the absolute scrutiny of Chelsea fan base. This is what I mean when the pressure gets mounted on. Tottenham fans are a bit more, obviously more relaxed, of course, because they're used to not winning stuff and all this stuff and giving a manager time. He won't have that, whether you like it or not. We talk about if, buts, and maybe. He'll give Chelsea a steady Eddie kind of situation. And that's just my opinion. And when the tough get going, when that pressure mounts from the fans and to deliver, I just don't think he's the man to deliver. When a club is in a mud, maybe like Liverpool at the moment, I think they'll be more relaxed with someone like Poch. Probably need someone like Poch as well, not Chelsea. I think Chelsea are just toxic. And do you not think
the fans at Chelsea at this stage surely are recognizing that they need a year to build and no?
Nope.
But they're mad if they think that what they've got at the moment. Look, Todd Bowley's taking a lot of criticism, rightly so, right? But also, what I think Chelsea have done, I've said this all year, is they've almost tried to do a 4-5 year rebuild in 2 to 3 windows. So it was never going to be this instant success that I know that Chelsea fans wanted. Equally, when you look at Chelsea now, they're miles away from Man City. They are miles. So if any Chelsea fan thinks that any manager's coming in with that squad and winning a title from under Man City's noses, they're
There's
crazy.
no quick fixes. There's no quick fixes with this club at all. There's no quick fixes with the team. People got to remember that it's not just the team that got broken. The whole club has just changed. You took away the owner. The new owner came in, basically got rid of everyone, not just your players. You gotta look at the board and the footballing organization. The whole organization was just changed. Peter Cech left, all the people that they have left, and he just brought in a whole new system. It's like, I used this analogy before. It's like you bought a restaurant and you changed everything about it. You changed the design, you changed the menu, you changed the staff, you changed everything, and you kept the name. And you're expecting that because the name is still there, you're supposed to be providing the same food, the same service. You're not. You just change everything. So for this to be a success, you have to give it time for everything to work out, but it's never going to be a quick fix. Todd Bowley has set them back like a couple years at least. For them to even go back to where they were, they're going to need more than 2 or 3 years, because you need 2 or 3 years just to recover from the damage that Tom Bowley has did to this club. In my opinion, is going to take at least a couple seasons just to recover.
Is it damage? Is it damage, or was it needed? Because let's be really, really honest. When Todd Bowley came in and bought them from Abramovich or whatever happened there, I think this was a Chelsea team that was going massively on the decline. It wasn't the stars. I don't think it was the star-studded squad people think it was. There was no out-and-out goal scorer. No. There was no Frank Lampard character. There was no Drogba. There was no Terry. I don't think it was a great Chelsea. So for me, I don't think he's ruined it. I think he's actually come in and realized, wow, this is a big project I've got on my hands. Yeah. And I just think it's football fans that think the name Chelsea meant that Chelsea were as good as they used to be.
Chelsea fans in for a ride. The last thing Chelsea fans are going to want is more patience. Trust me.
Do you know what, lads? A lot of people, and this goes for lots of football supporters, right? So a lot of people who support Chelsea are going to have to get real quick.
I agree.
If they think it's going to happen overnight, bless them. They're going to have to learn to deal with it. And if they aren't, they can't deal with it. And I'll tell you, I'll give you another example of another club where there's been lots of delusion. Hey, we're Nottingham Forest. We had a great history. We'll finish 9th or 10th or 11th in the Premier League. Screw that. I wanted 17th. That's all I care about. So many of these people have to realise what's going on in front of them. So it's almost like these people. I love Tottenham Hotspur, so we should be winning. I love Manchester United, so we should be winning. Whatever. We all love our clubs, but just because we love our clubs, it isn't going to just happen out of nowhere. And if I were talking to a Chelsea fan, I'd say to him, "Tell you what, mate, it's going to take a few years to get back to where you were. It's taken Manchester United a long time. If you take a decade from when Sir Alex went, it's taken them time to get to where they were. Arsenal have been struggling to get back to where the only team really who are there are Manchester City. Everybody else has got their own development." Tottenham's development, we've talked about it. United's development, Arsenal's development. I actually think the one that is developing the quickest is Newcastle United, right?
Yeah, of course. They're way ahead of schedule.
So I think the rest of us, we're all at different stages of development. We're in my little tiny pond. We're trying to stop being a championship club after 23 years, become something different. And a lot of ours are like acting as if where we are now is a disaster. It's not. 20 months ago, we were playing bloody Luton Town and Barnsley, right? So I've never lost sight. The best word in this whole show tonight came from my little Manchester United nephew down there when he talked about context. And context is absolutely all. So Chelsea fans have to learn their context, like the United fans are learning.
He's the one that doesn't want to talk context. Don't give him this credit.
I call me flip-flop FC, man. Don't worry about
it. But you know what I'm saying? Like Jordan talks about Tottenham. He gives context to Tottenham, like you do, Sav. And the boys down below giving context to United. Villa fans will give you context from where they've come from. Brighton fans will give you context. We've all got our own context. I actually think the only team at the moment that doesn't need to develop as quickly as the rest of us is City. But then again, if City somehow lose to Arsenal tomorrow night, they'll say, well, we've got a way to go. It's also, it's kind of an ongoing thing. I just think with Chelsea, if they can like demand everything they want all the
It
time
goes-
right now.
Dave,
They're going to have to wait.
Isn't football the same as everything? And I do want to wrap up in a minute, but football's the same as fashion. Football's the same as as music. Everything goes in, and TV. Everything goes in cycles. And the problem is, the Chelsea fans can be as impatient as they want, but at the end of the day, if Chelsea fans will say we've got to win the league next year, United fans will say it, Liverpool fans will say it, City fans will say it, Newcastle will now go, if we've made Champions League, one team can win it, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Todd Bowley told them when he came in. Now he might not be. I'm not sticking up for him. I don't really care. It's not my club. But he told them when he came in, this is a long-term thing. But Chelsea are so used to just going, right, we didn't win this year, we'll win the league next year, that they've got it in their mind they're as good as Man City. And I tell you what, if they give Poch a year, this is where I will give them credit. They will. I'm not saying they're going to win it next year, but if they give him a year, they will see a free-flowing football team that have a style of play, an ethos. They'll have fight, they'll have passion, they'll have integrity, and they'll have no European football. So it means he can have a fresh, trimmed-down squad. Plus, he's got youth players. Plus, he's got the Lukaku coming back. He's got Nkunku joining from.
Oh shit! Yeah, they got the Lukaku in it. Yeah.
Right,
incremental progress, mate.
Let me add
Liverpool are going to have to do it.
Because Gallagher won't be there though. They need to raise funds, and he's going to be one of them. He has to be a sellable asset at the end of the day. They got to really do a lot of funds. Yeah,
they have a lot of assets to sell though. So
I know.
Look, you look at it as Piliqueta, right?
Yeah, that's one. He's gone.
Ziyech.
Yeah.
Pulisic, Aubameyang, one of those midfielders, either Kovacic or Kante. Or
I think Kovacic is declared he's going anyways.
Right.
Loftus-Cheek.
I think Poch will love Loftus-Cheek.
I think so as well. He's like Moussa Dembele, isn't he?
Yeah. Bang on. About to say it, Kaz. I think he'll be as Moussa Dembele.
It's just injuries that get in that man's way, and it's just like, when he's going to get good? People still think he's 22 years old. He's 27, 28. But he might be a good. He might be a good, like a, what they call it, I can't remember what they call it in the midfield. Well, basically a Mazzala, a regista Mazzala, all them along them lines. Try to turn him into that. But what they lack is it's just. But the thing is with that, you got too many of the similar type of players. What are you going to do with Kante? What are you going to do with flipping Kovacic?
I think Kante goes too. Kante's not here. There's no time for another rebuild for him. He definitely.
Bernardo Silva's gone at the end of the season. Fuck. He's gone. But
I hate that guy.
Look, football works in circles. Look, I don't care. Look, Pep's is immense. I can't wait for him to lead the Premier League in 2 years' time. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Well, listen. I just don't. So when people say dusted, I mean, I tell you what. When we played Chelsea this year in the first game, Jordan, I don't know if you remember.
We got popped off the park, didn't we?
Was he not swapping with Reece James or something like that on the right? Or something like between centre back and right. It was weird.
This is what I mean, guys, right? When I look at Chelsea, I look at a lot of upheaval that's gone on this year with 3 different managers, all these new players coming in. If this summer they just buy 2 or 3 more, i.e. I think they want a striker, a goalie and a DM, right? And they let Poch have the summer to work with them and build that team, I'm worried from a Spurs fan perspective that he will get them going. But the problem is people can't see past the end of their nose. People just go, it's been a mess for this year. They are like football fans say things like they're a finished club. Of course they're not a finished club. Look how much money they'll chuck at it. It will become right eventually, right? They're not a finished club. United are not a finished club.
Anyway,
yeah, I don't think we were ever.
You ever started, mate?
Half these Chelsea fans are the same ones that backed the Lampard appointment. So I'm sorry, you're the last people I should be listening to, anyways. Saying because he's a proper Chelsea and he's gonna get us a bounce back. Like shut up, man. Don't ever sit in the comments. Don't call me clueless in the chat when you back Frank Lampard. You're the last person I'm listening to in this earth. See, you know what, Cassie? You wanted me to start talking my shit. This is my shit talking. If you back,
I told you, it's just gonna take over whether you like it or not.
I am clueless. If you want to have a go at me, leave these young lads alone. I'm clueless.
Just right. Listen, guys. I am going to end the show there. Just quickly, Mr. Post Office. I just want to say Enzo Fernandez for me is absolute quality, and I think the reason Chelsea paid the 100 million for him is, I think we asked this on the show a few weeks ago. If you look across Europe, and I said to you, now guys, realistically, top class central midfielders, top class. I don't think there's many. I don't
No,
think there's
Rich.
many you can go and get.
Not like him, anyways.
Not right. So I think if they've paid 100 million for this guy at 20 years of age and they get 5-6 years out of him, see, football fans can't see past. They just see the money. Bowley don't care about the money. Why do football fans? I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Just like judging somebody over 6 games, Savage. Judge somebody over 20,
It's
30, 40.
mad.
Do you know what I mean?
Enzo's
We-
got
we-
he's got to have a DM behind him, innit? And he's got to have someone else. He needs legs because the man ain't fast. He's got Jorginho pace. He ain't got Luka Modric acceleration. He might actually, to be fair, look, I think he's wicked, but he might struggle at the same time. It just depends what system he gets put around him. And that's what Poch is going to have to deliver as well.
Poch will get it. Poch will get it best out of
Poch
him.
ain't
He
ever
will.
had a player like Poch. Don't play with players like that. You know, he needs someone that's got. You say legs. Enzo Fernandez ain't got legs, man. Not
Listen,
like
bro,
that.
he played with
Enzo
Musa
Fernandez ain't got
Dembele.
legs.
He's got no
but
choice
he'll
but to work
build-
with him, though.
He played
He'll
with
build
Musa
around him, yeah.
Dembele, Eriksen, and Dele Alli in the midfield. He'll have a field day with someone like Enzo because he's probably the best midfielder he's
It's
going to have.
But he just don't have.
And
legs
they're
for me.
both Argentinian. Which
Yeah,
helps.
yeah,
So the language will make it easier for him with Enzo Fernandez. I
Totally
mean,
forgot
just
that,
a
yeah.
simple little thing.
It does make me laugh though. You're spot on, Dave. Just before we end, you're spot on. Like players come into this league and it's like you get 6 games and people go, it's great. It's reactionary, right? It's to get a reaction that, all these Arsenal fans going, I'm really glad we didn't get Mudryk. Fast forward a year's time, if Mudryk has a great year, it'll be, oh my God, our board's terrible. We should have had him. Right. Give a guy some time, give him a run of games, let him play for a manager. Like I think Mudryk will be what Son was when Poch bought Son. I think he'll do what Son does.
I said about the same about Anthony as well. Look at Anthony recently. Give him a bit of time. He's doing the things that we were complaining about.
But you know what,
He's
it's
been terrific the last 2 weeks, Anthony.
Better than Sancho, mate.
It's because these people mix
Sancho's
up between shit players and overpaid players. Some of these players, 100%, they've been overpaid for. Anthony, Mudryk, all these players have been overpaid for, and we understand that the market was inflated, and this is why, they're overpaid, but it doesn't mean that they're shit. It wasn't Mudryk's fault that he got paid. How much was he for?
No.
100 million or 90 million?
Yeah, he's trying to get the best price for his country, to be fair. Let's face it. It wasn't just his
Staffy,
club.
that's a brilliant point, Staffy. I think what we have to do, if you're going to look at this thing with an analytical eye, you actually have to separate the fee and the human being. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because there's context to why that fee was paid. Most of these players that are coming from these small clubs, they're trying to milk as much money as they can from those Chelseas and Manchester Uniteds and these big clubs that are desperate for these players. Anthony's not an 85 million euro player, or
more like 55, 60.
But I don't think he's a bad player. It's not my fault that we are so bad at negotiating that we were so late into the summer market where we had to get him for that much because we were late on him.
Mate, Sancho's going to be gone in the summer. Watch.
I don't know, bro. That's my boy.
Let me just address this, Jay. You're no offense, my friend. You can clip whatever you want, right? I don't know where unless you've got your own channel. I don't know where you're going to play that clipping. Second of all, if you actually took the time to listen to what I'm saying, is Hong-Min Son, when he came into the Tottenham team, and Jordan will know this being a Spurs fan, his first season was very, very average. Everyone was saying
in the chat that he couldn't even dislodge Chaplin in there.
Right. Where's that?
Oh yeah.
I saw it just now. Adam.
Yeah. Right. And that's the point. Is at that time everyone was going, "Oh, this Son guy, he's not that good. He didn't score goals. He didn't assist." Then, funnily enough, the next season when Poch had him for a year, it was, "Oh my God, who's this guy?" And this is what football fans, honestly, we don't want anyone to have any time to settle. And not only that, Dave, right? Tell you what it is. Look at all those Chelsea players that are being written off, right? All of those, and Liverpool to an extent, all of those Chelsea players and Liverpool players like Nunes and these people being written off, they've gone into teams that are not having good seasons. Right? Yeah. If you go into Man City, who are having a good season, you're going to click. If you go to a team like Chelsea that have had 3 managers, no goal scorer, 94 different formations, you've started 6 league games or whatever he started, and everyone goes, "Oh, this guy's rubbish."
You can only be as good as the organization is at the moment. If you go into a shitty organization, you're not expected to perform that well because you didn't come into the best environment that helps you with that growth. It just happens.
I think some teams are just in states of transition, right? So I went to Anfield on Saturday, right, and I looked at Liverpool, and Liverpool are sort of at the end of one cycle, about to begin another one. And I remember I was stood in the away section on Saturday, and I stood next to this copper who was a Scouse copper, right? And I said, "Are you a Liverpool fan?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said to him, "What do you think of Darwin Núñez?" He says, "He's going to be really good," and it was he's going to be. He's not there yet. He's a raw, rough bugger. When he gets when he gets adjusted to this life in this country and this league, Darwin Núñez is going to be a really good player, I think.
Did you hear what
Luis
Klopp said
Diaz is in the same category, I think. He's
Dave, did you hear what Klopp said about him in the interview last week about Darwin Núñez?
No, I didn't, mate. No.
He turned around and said the guy can't even speak English yet.
Yeah.
Like he said, he's really unorthodox. He can play through the middle or to the left, but
yeah.
He said he can't even speak English yet. He said he's got something like 15, 16 goal contributions this season, 14 goals or something.
Yeah.
It's not dreadful, but the problem is because we want everything now, people look at the 85 million price tag and go,
"Oh, Casemiro can't speak
English."
English.
And culture, Sava, culture.
All these players
just in life generally.
Yeah,
it's not an instant
Casemiro
thing.
can't speak English yet.
Yeah.
He's a leader.
Casemiro's a world
We're talking about young
class
players. Yeah.
Yeah,
all the
Casemiro's
young
he's won 20 odd Champions Leagues.
But I guarantee it's weird. Yeah, I'm telling you now. Anthony barely speaks English. Him and Wan-Bissaka got a better partnership than him and Dalot, even though they both speak Portuguese, even if it is different dialects. Sometimes football is a universal language, mate, on the field. If I point you to go there, mate, you're going there. Get back. Even if I scream in another tongue, don't matter. You're getting back. It's just simple. Sometimes it's like, I can hear you. Communication is a big part. Because when you want a certain thing and you're screaming it and they ain't got a clue, like, what are you saying? Because usually you don't need to know. When you're a football player with a brain, you know them ones where someone's shouting at you from somewhere, you need to know if someone's shouting at you in Spanish, or if you don't understand it, you ain't going to think like, oh, let me just ping it anyways, just in case.
Listen, Anthony gave that assist to the low last week. I'm pretty sure Dave was there in person to see it. So I don't know what you're talking about, their communication.
Well, I tell you what, actually, Staffy, Anthony, when Manchester United came to Forest, that midfield of like Fernandes, Lazarus, and Casemiro was just fantastic, right? Way too good for us. But the big surprise for me was Anthony. Anthony was absolutely. He had his best game for United at Forest
against you guys.
No chance. His best game was against Tottenham at home. It was ridiculous. He put Perisic in his arse twice.
It's not hard though, is it? That isn't hard.
No, but I'm not gonna lie. When I tell you now, that was the easiest game of the season. That was the easiest game of the season.
He didn't have a real defender on him.
They shot
Perisic last week.
I've seen him every week, and it's painful.
Right, guys, I am gonna end the show there. Listen, thank you very much. Listen, this time next week when we meet, we'll know more about the Arsenal City situation. We'll know whether or not Man United are going to finish second, like Kaz has told us. We'll know if Nottingham Forest are getting relegated. And we'll see how many more goals Spurs have conceded from their back 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever we play. Dave, thanks so much for coming on as always, mate. I'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
Bless you, mate. Good to see you, lads.
Staffy, thank you, making your debut. Thank you very much, mate. Loved it. Jordan, big up, mate. Hope you're well.
Thanks for having me,
Nice
mate.
to see you. It's always nice to see your face. And Kaz, as always, what a guy. The man, the myth, the legend.
My nephew.
Damn.
Everybody in the chat, thanks so much. Aaron, thanks for becoming a member. Thank you, Phil, for the super chats. Thank you for everyone else for the good football chat. And other than that, we are going to be out of here.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. It's 4.